This page is the vibrant cover of Sega Saturn Fan Magazine, spotlighting some highly anticipated titles for the console. Featured prominently are previews for Sakura Wars 2, Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 2, Dragon Force 2, and the chilling arcade port, The House of the Dead. The artwork showcases characters from Sakura Wars 2 and the acrobatic heroes of Burning Rangers, which also gets a strategic walkthrough feature inside. Other games covered include the final chapter of Super Robot Wars F, The King of Fighters 97, and Eve the Lost One. The cover also teases exclusive scoops on games like the Train Simulator, Densha to Go, the Shoot 'em Up Soul Divide, and the debut of a game featuring character designs by Otoru Mizutani. It's packed with exciting content for any Saturn enthusiast. This page features a striking image of Sega's iconic mascot, Sagata Sanshiro, holding a scroll proclaiming, "Sega Saturn, Shiro," and promoting, "Hot software, everything's Shiro." The page acts as a promotional showcase for several diverse Sega Saturn titles. Featured games include the winter sports action of Winter Heat, the baseball simulation, Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, Coup, the high-octane action of Burning Rangers, the atmospheric RPG Baroque, and a special pack for the acclaimed light gun shooter Virtua Cop. The page also includes information related to Sagata Sanshiro himself, such as the release of his theme song on CD, and details about fan club recruitment and a promotional event. Overall, it's a powerful marketing spread, using the memorable mascot to highlight a range of exciting games for the system. This page features the adventure game Dukoku Soshite by Data East on the cover, showcasing the main anime characters and promoting a special package edition. The contents list reveals a wealth of information for Sega Saturn fans. The Sega Dynamic Preview section is loaded with upcoming must-plays, including the highly anticipated Sakura Wars 2, Shining Force 2, Eyes Scenario 2, Dragon Force 2, and the arcade port of The House of the Dead. There are also previews for Neon Genesis Evangelion, Steel Girlfriend, and Pro Yaku Greatest 998. Further reports cover titles like Super Robot Wars Fra Completion, Even the Lost One, Melty Lancer Reinforce, and Bomberman Wars. Strategy guides are featured for games such as Burning Rangers and Winter Heat, while reviews and news cover a wide range of recent releases like Wipeout 2097, The King of Fighters 97, and Sega Worldwide Soccer 98. A notable feature is an interview with the new Sega president. The magazine covers various genres, offering previews, strategies, and ongoing columns on rankings and reader feedback. This page offers an exciting Sega Dynamic Preview for the highly anticipated Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die. It provides a grand reveal of the interior of the Grand Imperial Theater, the home base for the Imperial Combat Review. The developers emphasize the rich and expressive emotions of the characters, showcasing how they interact with joy, anger, sadness, and humor, making them feel even more alive than in the previous installment. Featured characters include Sakura Shinguji, Maria Tachibana, Sumire Kanzaki, Iris, Kana Kirishima, Orihime Soleta, Leni Milchstrasse, and Kuran Ri, all depicted with vibrant illustrations. Screenshots highlight various scenes, including character dialogue and expressions. There's a countdown to the game's launch, noting just 36 days remain. The page also hints at a thorough analysis of the game's setting and an interview with producer Uji Hiroi, promising deep insight into this thrilling sequel. This page gives us a closer look inside the Grand Imperial Theater in Sakura Wars 2, the central hub for the Imperial Combat Review. We get detailed floor plans for the first floor, second floor, and B1 level, showing the layout of this iconic base. The text points out significant changes from the first game, like the addition of new spaces such as a music room and courtyard on the ground floor, and a dedicated game room on the second floor, suggesting new opportunities for character interaction and minigames. The second floor is home to the Flower Division's private rooms, now expanded to accommodate new members like Leni and Orihime. Down in the basement we see functional areas, including the medical office, Operations Command Center, and even a bathhouse. Character portraits and dialogue excerpts are peppered throughout, depicting the everyday lives and interactions of the team within these familiar yet updated surroundings, truly bringing the theater to life. This page delves into the refined adventure gameplay of Sakura Wars 2. It highlights the evolution of the signature lips system, introducing both click lips, where players must react within a time limit by clicking on the screen to interact or find items, and the new timing lips, which adds pressure by having response options change as time passes, reflecting the urgency or emotional state of the situation. Screenshots illustrate these mechanics, showing timed choices and searching environments. The page also notes improvements to item handling, making them easier to use and see. Additionally, there's an interview with Koji Hiroi, the game's creator, discussing the development of Sakura Wars 2, his focus on character depth, the game's themes, and the challenges of creating a sequel that builds upon the foundation of the original, emphasizing the detailed world and emotional connections. This page shifts gears to the highly anticipated Shining Force 2, Scenario 2, Targeted Child, the second installment in the ambitious three-part trilogy for the Sega Saturn. Following closely on the heels of Scenario 1, this entry promises refinements, including reduced load times and enhanced DSP effects, showing Sega's commitment to polishing the game engine. The page focuses heavily on introducing the key players in this new scenario, featuring profiles of characters from both the Empire, led by the Median Army, and the Republic forces. We get a look at prominent figures like General Grantak, the central character Medion himself, key members of the Destonia imperial family including Emperor Dominato and his sons, and powerful imperial generals. On the Republic side, characters like the Centaur Knight Campbell, the priest Uriud, and the young magician Synthesis are highlighted, giving players a glimpse into the diverse cast they will encounter. Screenshots interspersed throughout show battle scenes and character portraits, offering a preview of the strategic simulation RPG gameplay and the detailed character designs. The page serves as an exciting preview, building anticipation for the next chapter in the Shining Force 2 saga by showcasing new heroes and villains and promising an even more refined experience. This page delves deeper into Shining Force 2 Scenario 2, highlighting new monster designs and showcasing dynamic battle scenes. We see combat examples featuring returning heroes like Median and Synthesis against foes such as the Slashbat and Seeker Crab, emphasizing the improved polygonal models and enhanced magic effects compared to the previous installment. A significant portion is dedicated to an interview with Mr. Takahashi, president of Sonic, who discusses the development of Shining Force 2. He touches upon the game's progress, the refinements made from Scenario 1, and the team's goal of achieving the highest quality product. Takahashi hints at potential personal involvement in scenario writing and confirms system adjustments like faster load times and improved DSP effects are being implemented to enhance the player experience. The page also offers a practical look back at Shining Force 2, Scenario 1, revealing the items available in its shops. This list provides valuable information for players preparing to carry over their progress, detailing various consumables and equipment that aid the player's party. This page provides an in-depth look at Dragon Force 2, which is nearing its March release, by analyzing numerous battle screenshots to reveal details about its combat system. A major enhancement highlighted is the ability to command two unit types simultaneously in battle, doubling the strategic options compared to the first game where you only controlled one. Furthermore, the total number of distinct unit types available has increased significantly from 10 to 18, promising much deeper tactical gameplay as you consider unit compatibility and positioning. The game also introduces versatile camera angle options, allowing players to switch between horizontal, overhead, and slightly overhead views. This flexibility is especially useful for tracking different unit types, like the flying units, which are particularly visible from the horizontal perspective. The beloved duel system makes a return. If both armies are decimated, the opposing warlords will engage in a dramatic one-on-one fight, which can turn the tide of battle. The page also showcases some of the powerful warlord skills, such as the Fiery Meteor Panic, the Earth-Shattering Gaia Break and Lord of Zil, the Watery Undine, and the Wind-Based Hyperstorm. These visually impressive skills add a dynamic layer to the battles. A table lists various unit types like soldiers, mages, knights, and even mythical creatures like griffons and undead, detailing their movement, attack methods, and characteristics like strengths and weaknesses. The game is listed as an 85% complete simulation RPG, published by Sega. This page delves further into the strategic depth of Dragon Force 2, showcasing the game's extensive tactical and formation systems. Players can now utilize 12 distinct tactics and 5 formations for their units, a significant upgrade that offers far more control over battlefield positioning and movement compared to the previous title. Diagrams illustrate how units execute different tactics like charge, retreat, dispersion, and concentration, while formations depict varying arrangements such as standard, oblique, and spread, each offering unique advantages. These options are crucial for adapting to different enemy types and terrain. A major highlight is the announcement of the winners from the character design contest. 6 fan-created characters have been adopted and will appear in the game. The page features their artwork and brief profiles, including names and classes like Shams the Knight, Urizen the Warrior Monk, Valkina the Sorceress, Yami the Samurai, Mayuka the Spirit User, and Rili the Sorceress. The developers express excitement about incorporating these fresh designs into the world of Dragon Force. Finally, there's a brief update confirming that recording is complete for the game's theme song, performed by Junko Iwao. This page gives us a dynamic preview of the upcoming Sega Saturn port of The House of the Dead, highlighting the progress on stages 2 and 3. The developers note significant quality improvements since the last look, showing the game is steadily nearing completion. Stage 2 takes players deeper into the mansion, revealing areas like the art room and hall, as well as private bedrooms. This stage introduces new enemy types encountered within the mansion's mysteries. The boss for Stage 2 is the Hanged Man, a flying creature that attacks with projectiles and direct dives, requiring precise timing and movement awareness. Stage 3 shifts the setting dramatically to a zombie manufacturing plant, representing the core of the game's narrative. Here, players navigate through elevators, factory floors, guard rooms, and prison cells, facing off against more grotesque creations. The boss of Stage 3 is the Hermit, a large spider-like creature whose weak point is clearly visible, setting up a challenging but straightforward battle before the final confrontation. The game is slated for a March 26 release and will support the Virtua Gun peripheral for that authentic arcade feel. The next page provides a detailed preview of the adventure game Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel for the Sega Saturn. It delves into key story points, focusing on Shinji Ikari's interactions with the new character Mana Kirishima, leading up to their first date. The page describes moments like Shinji and Mana planning their day out, Misato offering advice, and Shinji's inner turmoil regarding Asuka and Rei. Alongside the relationship drama, the preview hints at the underlying mystery involving a strange moving object that disappears into Lake Akashi, and the unknown pilot operating it. Characters like Kaji and Ritsuko appear as the investigation into this anomaly unfolds. Screenshots showcase various scenes from the game, including classroom and library settings, outdoor investigation sites, the planned date locations like a restaurant and a boat ride viewing the sunset, and even a hospital visit, where Shinji learns more about the mysterious pilot. The game is set for release on March 19th as a 2-disc adventure title, and is reported to be 90% complete as of February 19th. This page provides a dynamic preview of Pro Yaku Greatest 998 for the Sega Saturn, highlighting changes and new features since the Room version. The big news is the addition of the Narikiri mode, allowing players to experience a baseball career from the perspective of a single player, whether they choose to be a pitcher or a fielder/hitter. The preview details how playing as a pitcher involves focusing on pitch types and locations, while playing as a position player centers on hitting and base running opportunities. The game retains the popular pitching prediction system from the previous year, along with clear displays for pitch courses and hitting markers. The player edit system has been updated with a password function and uses keywords to define player abilities. Excitingly, the game structure now includes legendary OBS, Old Boys players, adding a nostalgic touch to team building. After games, players can review detailed results, rankings, and stats. This page brings the massive arcade hit, Densha de Go, to the forefront, with the exciting news of its impending release on the Sega Saturn. Known for its realistic train driving simulation, this game was a huge success in arcades, captivating a wide audience from avid gamers to train enthusiasts. The Saturn version is highlighted as a complete port of the original arcade experience, promising to reproduce the beautiful scenery and detailed environments faithfully. The visuals are expected to be impressive, rivaling the arcade graphics. A major piece of news is the simultaneous release of a dedicated train controller, the Mascon, priced at 5,800 yen, designed to replicate the feel of driving a real train for maximum immersion. While the game can also be played with the standard Saturn controller, the dedicated Mascon is presented as the ideal way to experience the simulation. The page touches on the standard controller mapping, noting the nuances of using the pad for speed and brake adjustments. This port aims to let players experience the dream of driving a train right in their own home. This page expands on the Densha de Go experience, detailing the core gameplay mechanics and the various lines available. It explains that the primary goal is to stop the train precisely at the target station, emphasizing that trains cannot stop suddenly. Players must master the use of the Mascon, or controller, to control speed, starting by releasing the brake and applying power while minding speed limits and gradient markers. The page highlights the importance of obeying signals, just like in real life, and how to adjust speed based on the situation and track markers. Precise stopping is crucial, as overrunning the station triggers the automatic train stop ATS system and incurs penalties. Achieving zerometer stops earns bonus points and unlocks a bonus game where you connect train cars for extra time. The game features 4 distinct lines based on real Japanese routes: the beginner-friendly Sanhien main line and the more challenging advanced lines Keihin Tohoku, Tokaido, and Yamanote. Each line offers a different experience with unique train types, environments, and operational challenges, from long stretches allowing for speed to tight schedules and frequent, precise stops on the Yamanote line. Mastering these routes requires skill and attention to detail, truly capturing the challenge and satisfaction of driving a train. This page features an exclusive scoop on a new action RPG from Altron called Solvis. It's presented as a fresh concept, blending the excitement of exploring ever-changing dungeons with the depth of collecting cards. The game throws you into a massive 100-floor underground labyrinth. A core feature is that the dungeon layout isn't fixed. Its shape and the placement of items and monsters are randomized every time you enter, keeping each playthrough unique. Combat and all actions within the dungeon are entirely real-time. This isn't a turn-based affair. Monsters move and attack continuously, forcing you to constantly manage your position and actions. Your primary means of interaction involves collecting and utilizing cards. There are over 800 different types of cards, used not only for attacking and recovery, but also for other effects, and the game encourages collecting and even trading them. The page also highlights the versatile camera system, allowing players to freely adjust the view angle to get the best perspective on the real-time action. Expect the challenge to ramp up significantly as you delve deeper into the 100 floors. This page continues the deep dive into Solvis, shifting focus from the dungeon crawl to other crucial aspects of the game. It explains how cards are versatile tools, usable not only in combat, but also for trading and player versus player duels, adding a significant strategic layer. The game features areas outside the perilous dungeons, centered around the commercial city of Oporo. Here you can visit shops to buy items, synthesize new cards, and prepare for your next exploration. This city serves as the main hub for adventure and interaction. An interesting system highlighted is the use of the console's internal clock, which influences game progression and potentially item availability, adding replayability with version differences. A and B types mentioned, implying varying item rarity or types. You also get to choose your protagonist from 2 pairs, Shudo and Hayate or Altina and Fubuki, each with their own backstories driving the plot. The page also details the duel mode, where players battle using their collected cards. Starting from a low rank, the goal is to climb the ranks by defeating opponents in one-on-one card battles. This mode is distinct from the dungeon exploration and serves as an engaging objective outside the main quest. Finally, it touches upon the trading and PvP aspects, allowing players to exchange cards and engage in battles using their collected runes and monster runes. The elemental relationship system between fire, water, earth, wood, and metal is also visually explained, indicating strategic depth in card use. This page features an exclusive interview with legendary character designer Toru Mizutani, focusing on his work on the game Friends Shining Youth for the Sega Saturn. Mizutani, known for his detailed and captivating illustrations, discusses his approach to designing the characters for this adventure title. He talks about bringing a distinct visual style, aiming for designs that feel alive and expressive, similar to anime. Mizutani shares insights into his favorite characters and the process of developing their looks and personalities. The game is described as an adventure game, set for a summer release by NEC Interchannel and Stack. Development was reported to be at 70% completion at the time. A major highlight is the inclusion of additional scenes specifically created for the Saturn version, featuring characters in swimsuits. The illustration prominently displayed on the page is one such scene, showing a character enjoying the water, a detail Mizutani discusses in the interview, explaining his creative process for these new visuals, and the challenges involved in adapting his style for the game medium. The interview provides a deep dive into the artistic vision behind Friends Shining Youth. This page continues the in-depth feature on Friends Shining Youth for the Sega Saturn, highlighting the enhancements brought to this version, specifically focusing on voice acting and anime elements. The article presents a discussion, seemingly an interview continuation, with character designer Toru Mizutani and another development staff member, delving into the creative process. They discuss the challenges of bringing Mizutani's detailed character designs to life in the game, focusing on expressing subtle details like eye expressions and curves. A significant part of the conversation revolves around the Saturn exclusive editions, including new scenes featuring the characters. The illustrations prominently feature characters like Midori and Nanako, showcasing some of these new visuals, particularly the swimsuit scenes mentioned previously. The developers touch upon how they approached designing these additional moments and ensuring the characters retain their charm and personality. This page offers a fascinating look into the artistic and technical considerations behind adapting the game for the Sega Saturn. This page continues the feature on Friends, Shining Youth for the Sega Saturn, focusing on gameplay enhancements and key locations. The Saturn version aims for improved ease of play, with arrangements like a new cursor system optimized for gamepad control, moving away from the Sega's mouse-centric approach. The map system clearly shows the player's current location and introduces a potentially new feature to display the locations of other characters, which would be a significant help. The article then guides us through the central hub of the story, the Blue Forest Pension. This is where the main characters stay for a week during their reunion. Details are provided on its various facilities, including the comfortable guest rooms, the lively living room used for gatherings and events, and a unique open-air bath. Finally, the page highlights the progress on the youth motion sequences, also known as full-spec motion or anime scenes. These are being completed rapidly, with an increased number of insertion points compared to the original PC version, further enhancing the visual storytelling as discussed on the previous page. This confirms the developers are indeed adding significant anime content. This page continues the feature on Friends, Shining Youth, guiding players through the various locations on the Hoshifuri Sato Plateau they can visit during the game's reunion event. The article highlights places like the tennis court, site of a potential incident involving Mizuki, and the local shrine, shown with the character CAG, hinting at Masaki's romantic feelings. Players can also visit the Izakaya, Eagle's Nest, described as a bar popular with male characters and shown in a scene with Shizuka and Shinobu, or the local souvenir shop where Miyuki works. The art museum, while perhaps closed, is featured with a CG of Makoto and Fujio. Other explorable areas include Fantasyland Amusement Park and a farm known for its tasty ice cream. The church is also mentioned as a location for special events. Beyond these standard spots, the game includes event-triggered destinations like a barbecue, where Makoto's culinary skills are noted, and a large fireworks display featuring the entire cast in Yukata. The page concludes by revealing the full voice actor lineup for the main characters, featuring numerous well-known voice talents. Character art of Midori and Miyuki is prominently displayed. This page features a special report on Gunbuster's highly anticipated appearance in Super Robot Wars F Final, describing it as the ultimate machine weapon and the third iconic unit alongside Evangelion and Ideon to join the battle. The article showcases Gunbuster's immense power and various attacks through detailed screenshots. Players can witness devastating moves like the Double Buster Collider, Buster missiles fired from its fingers, the defensive Buster Shield, and even the unique Buster Home Run, a powerful weapon not seen in the original animation. The synergy between pilots Noriko and Kasumi is also highlighted. The page notes that the game's karaoke mode allows fans to re-watch these dynamic attack animations. Basic game information regarding its release is also presented. This page continues the coverage of Super Robot Wars F Final, showcasing the gorgeous cast of units appearing in the game. The article highlights several key mobile suits and original mechs. Featured prominently are the Super Robot Wars original units Grumgrust, known for its multiple transformation modes, including the Gastrander, and Winggust, shown in its flight form. These transforming mechs add unique tactical options to the game. The page also introduces additions from the Gundam universe, specifically the mass-produced vs. Gundam and the full-armor Hyaku Shikikai, noted as exciting new entries for fans. A significant portion is dedicated to the SEG Gundam units, God Gundam, and Master Gundam, focusing on Domenkashu's special abilities like the Meikyo Shisui state, and powerful attacks such as the Bakunetsu Godfinger and the ultimate Sekiha Tenkyoken. The article emphasizes that these devastating attacks are unlocked as Domen's will increases, and through specific in-game events, praising their dynamic and cool animation sequences. This page features an interview with Super Robot Wars F Final producer Takanobu Terada, titled, Ask Producer Terada, discussing the game as it nears release. Producer Terada confirms development is around 95% complete and addresses fan questions about the final chapter. He mentions the inclusion of many new units, including original mechs, hidden characters, and increased enemy variety, while keeping some details secret. Key units like Ideon and Gunbuster are discussed, with confirmation on Ideon's unique gauge system and the power of the Ideon sword. Narrated also touches upon the handling of Evangelion units needing concentration/focus, the strength of Mazinkaiser and Getter Dragon, and adjustments made to game balance, including the 2-action system. He highlights the game's high difficulty, especially against strong boss enemies. The page includes images of Mazinkaiser and Getter Dragon, along with photos of producer Narrated, who assures fans of the game's high volume and content ahead of its April 23 release. This page dives into the upcoming release of Eve the Lost One, the anticipated sequel to Eve and Burst Error, confirming its near-complete development and revealing key details about the story and characters. Fans will be thrilled to know that the beloved protagonists from the previous game, Detective Kojiro Amagi and his lover and fellow detective Yayoi Katsuragi, are making their return, alongside the enigmatic agent Hibariko and 2 other key individuals. The magazine provides profiles for these characters, showcasing their designs and offering glimpses into their personalities and roles in the unfolding mystery. Character art includes various expressions and hairstyles, giving a good look at the visual style. Furthermore, the voice actor casting is announced, featuring prominent talent like Takehito Koyasu for Kojiro, Yoko Honda for Yayoi, and Sakura Tange for Hibariko, along with a full list of confirmed voice actors for many other characters. The page wraps up with a lineup showcasing the relative heights of the main cast. This page delves into the investigation in Even the Lost One, focusing on the character Kyoko as she probes the Mochizuki Biological Research Institute. The game's mystery unfolds through various character encounters and locations, depicted in numerous screenshots showing dialogue scenes and backdrops. The page details Kyoko's initial meeting with the director of the institute, followed by an encounter with Natsumi Suzuki at World Import Tower. She then returns to headquarters under Deputy Director Kano, where she meets Senior Investigator Miru and fellow investigator Morari. Later, attempting to see the director again, she instead meets Ayane Sakashita. The investigation also leads her to meet childhood friends Kazuo Eto and Rina Kudo outside the SeaWorld. The page concludes with Kyoko receiving an investigation lecture from Mare back at headquarters, highlighting the collaborative nature of the detective work, despite some apparent friction or differences in their approaches. The screenshots effectively showcase the game's visual novel style and character designs. The next page shifts perspective in Even the Lost One, following Snake's storyline. It begins with Snake building a bomb under the guidance of Adonis, a mysterious entity who appears as a polygonal figure on his computer screen. This interaction seems to initiate Snake's transformation, or rebirth. Snake then uses his computer to search for Adonis, finding a name linked to Greek mythology. The narrative takes Snake to a familiar park and a nearby coffee shop he hadn't noticed before. At the coffee shop, he meets Myrna, a foreign student studying genetic engineering, and Monica, a regular customer. Afterward, in the park, Snake spots Kudo Kaiko, the president of Artile Corporation, speaking cryptically about El Shadia and searching for something. While there, Snake receives a strange message from Adonis, before Adonis vanishes. Returning home, Snake is surprised to find Monica inside, who is looking for something called memory. She leaves after a brief exchange. Snake then goes back to the coffee shop to question Myrna about Elkidia, learning about its political situation and the memory of the former king. The page hints at the growing connections between these events, Kudo Kaiko, Monica, and the elusive memory, leaving the player to ponder the mysteries unfolding. This page features a special report on the Sega Saturn port of Meltylancer, titled Meltylancer Reinforce. The game shifts the player's perspective from the previous entry. Instead of training the 6 Lancers, you now play as Randy, a rookie Galactic Police Organization (GPO) investigation officer candidate who is being trained by the previous game's protagonists. The Saturn version boasts significant improvements over the original PlayStation release. Titled, "This is amazing about the Saturn version, plus alpha and pushed." Quote, it highlights major enhancements to the system and visuals. Specifically, the Saturn port includes a large volume of added events, with the total number of events reportedly 34 times that of the PS version. Graphic data and voice data have also been greatly expanded, with graphics presented in high-resolution mode throughout. Changes are also evident in the minigames. The Angela and Demon minigame, which reused the battle system in the PS version, has been completely revamped for the Saturn port, utilizing a dedicated mini-action game system for a more engaging experience. The page also hints at a mysterious new element called the La mode, which is triggered under certain conditions during gameplay. Artwork and screenshots showcase the protagonist Randy, the returning Lancer characters, and scenes from events in gameplay, including the redesigned minigame and the La Mode screen. This long-awaited sequel brings the popular Multi-Lancer series to the Saturn, with substantial new content and technical upgrades, promising a different flavor from the original PS release. This page features a special report on Bomberman Wars, a radical new direction for the classic series, transforming it into a turn-based strategy simulation game. Departing from the familiar action puzzle format, gameplay now focuses on moving units across a grid and strategically deploying bombs within a turn-based system. The game offers two distinct modes: Quest Mode, likely a campaign with multiple stages, and Battle Mode, for competitive play. While the core attack method remains placing bombs, their explosion mechanics are now tied to the turns, demanding careful planning. The game introduces various units, including different Bomberman characters like Bomberman Kind and Bomberman Fairy, each possessing unique abilities that influence strategy. Items, including series mainstays and potentially new additions, are also present to aid players. The article emphasizes that this new format challenges players' strategic thinking, showcasing a significant evolution for the Bomberman franchise. This page showcases two distinct titles. On the left we have Gal Act Heroism, an RPG/simulation game featuring a large cast of anime-styled characters. The page highlights the extensive voice cast involved, numerous characters, and provides glimpses of the gameplay, which appears to combine simulation elements with character interaction and combat scenes. There's also information about a special reservation campaign offering a free talk CD and a present. On the right side, the page focuses on the popular anime series Revolutionary Girl Utena. It features Sega hobby merchandise, specifically character figures, including Utena Tenju and Anthe Himemiya. More significantly for gamers, it announces a Sega Saturn adventure game adaptation titled Revolutionary Girl Utena, Always Shimmering, a Revolution. The game is described as an original story adventure game, and screenshots show dialogue scenes and character portraits, suggesting a focus on narrative and character interaction within the Utena universe. This page features a doubleheader showcasing two distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left is Battle Gorega, a highly acclaimed vertical scrolling shooter. The dramatic artwork depicts intense aerial combat with detailed propeller planes, emphasizing the game's theme of fierce battles in the sky. Hailed as a perfect port and a masterpiece of the genre, the page includes screenshots demonstrating the classic vertical shooter gameplay. It's highlighted as being on sale now. On the right, the page presents Farland Saga, a simulation RPG. The artwork features a group of anime-style characters, with a central theme posed as a question: coexistence or domination. As a simulation RPG, the game promises strategic battles shown from a 3D quarter-view perspective, complemented by lavish event scenes featuring a luxurious voice cast. It's also noted as being on sale now. This page features a vibrant contrast with two different Sega Saturn titles. On the left we have Metamol V, a charming anime-style adventure game. It features a secret squadron of 5 transforming heroes, battling across land, sea, and air to protect Earth. The artwork highlights the colorful cast and promises great victories and beautiful transformations. This character-driven game was released on April 3rd for 5,800 yen. Shifting gears to the right, Stellar Assault blasts onto the scene. This is the Sega Saturn port of the critically acclaimed 3D full polygon space shooter. Players experience intense dogfights with 360-degree freedom of movement. The game boasts a trace function to analyze your performance and high-quality SKI-rendered CG movies, setting the stage for the final battle in a turbulent universe. Developed by Sims, Stellar Assault was released on February 26, 1998, priced at 5,800 yen. This page showcases a duo of exciting titles for Sega fans. On the left, we're treated to Langrisser, Dramatic Edition, bringing the legendary strategy RPG series to the Sega Saturn. This compilation features enhanced versions of Langrisser 1 and 2, with stunning anime artwork, tactical grid-based combat, and a deep narrative described as weaving the legend of radiant glory. The game promises challenging battles and dramatic story sequences, a hallmark of the series. It's currently on sale for 6,300 yen. Flipping to the right, we find Yukyu Gensokyoku second album, a vibrant dating and raising simulation game also available on Sega Saturn and PlayStation. Featuring a large cast of characters designed by Mu, the artwork is bright and cheerful, reflecting the game's theme of building relationships. The tagline, "Truth, Never Let Go," hints at the emotional journey players will undertake with the characters. This title expands on the previous game, with new events and scenarios, offering players a chance to forge lasting bonds. The game, and related media like soundtracks and books, were released around March-April 1998. This page presents two distinct titles for Sega Saturn enthusiasts. On the left, we have the latest entry in the popular Graduation series, titled Graduation Wedding Bell. This raising simulation game features a cast of schoolgirls in vibrant anime style, continuing the story of a teacher and his students. It's announced for simultaneous release on both PlayStation and Sega Saturn in March 1998. The page also highlights a 10th anniversary concert event and a related campaign tied to a special album and the new game release. The right side is dedicated to Convenience Store 2, a simulation game developed by Human Entertainment. This sequel puts players in charge of managing their own convenience store. The artwork features numerous lucky Mannequin-Neko cats, and screenshots provide a glimpse of the store management gameplay. This title is set to launch for the Sega Saturn in March 1998, offering players a chance to build and grow their virtual business empire. This page features two distinct Japanese media releases. On the left, we see the latest fighting game sensation, The King of Fighters 97, making its way to the Sega Saturn. The artwork showcases prominent characters like Kyo Kusanagi, Iori Yagami, and Chizuru Kagura, highlighting the game's storyline centered around the revenge of Orochi. It's presented as a perfect port to the console, available on March 26th, with an option to purchase a bundle, including the necessary 4 MB RAM cartridge for optimal performance. The right side promotes the original soundtrack for the popular dating simulation game, Sentimental Graffiti. Titled I Believe You, this album features music from the game and is set for release on February 28th. It includes a CD extra feature with bonus content like character illustrations, profiles, and data from the 97 game show appearances. This soundtrack captures the emotional essence of the game's narrative. This page features a vibrant advertisement for the simulation game Tenant Wars, set for release on both PlayStation and Sega Saturn on February 11, 1998. The left side showcases the game's mascot character standing in front of a building with a tenant recruitment sign, reinforcing the game's theme of managing properties and attracting tenants to various businesses like shops and restaurants, as seen in the small screenshots below. It highlights that the game supports up to 6 players simultaneously for a lively experience, or can be played solo, with the goal of becoming the top tenant manager. The right side is dedicated to a community section, the Conehead Club, which includes reader contributions and discussions. Topics range widely, from reflections on the Nagano Olympics and winter sports like skating and curling, to personal anecdotes and thoughts on various games including Winter Heat and arcade titles like Virtua Fighter 3. The free section compiles these reader comments, offering glimpses into the gaming and daily lives of fans. There are also comic strips and illustrations, such as Manga de Go, and a feature introducing a first-time contributor, adding a fun, personal touch to the magazine page. This page is a submission form for the Saturn Fan Magazine's reader section, titled Saturn's Kingdom. It provides the mailing address in Tokyo for submissions and lists categories like Game Scoreboard, specific monthly columns, the Cornhead Club, which we saw featured on the previous page, and other. Readers are encouraged to use this form, or any postcard, to submit letters, illustrations, or other contributions, filling in their name, address, age, and pen name, and marking the relevant submission category. It's a direct line for fans to interact with the magazine and share their thoughts or creations. This page is the We Are Supporters section, also known as the Cornhead Club, where fans submit illustrations and comments about their favorite games and characters. Several popular game series are featured, including reader art and thoughts on titles like Sakura Wars, highlighting characters like Maria Tachibana and Sakura Shinguji. There's a focus on Neon Genesis Evangelion, with comments on characters like Rei Ayanami and Asuka Langley Soryu, and even a mention of the game Girlfriend of Steel. Fans also show love for the fighting game series Darkstalkers, specifically Darkstalkers 3, Vampire Savior, with art of characters like Dimitri, Jeddah, Lilith, and Baby Bonnyhood. The RPG Grandia gets attention, featuring illustrations of Justin and other characters. A section called Kids Hope collects various game feedback, discussing disappointment with character design changes in sequels, mentioning Dragon Quest I and II and Lunar, the prevalence of RPGs on the PlayStation, and issues with ports and the used game market. Finally, the strategy RPG Dragon Force is featured with reader art and comments, highlighting characters like the Empress. There's also a section dedicated to a dating simulation game, likely Tokimeki Memorial, showcasing illustrations of characters like Yuina Himu and Megumi Katagiri, with praise for the artwork. It's a vibrant showcase of reader passion for Sega Saturn and other popular titles of the era. This page is the Cornhead Club fans section, kicking off with the illustration gallery showcasing creative fan art. You'll see contributions featuring characters from various Sega AM hits like Fighting Vipers, Burning Rangers, Virtua Fighter, and even a nod to Daytona USA. There's also art from popular non-Sega titles like Revolutionary Girl Utena, Slayers, and Shining Force 2 Eyes, highlighting the diverse tastes of the magazine's readers. The Corn Kids Network board is where fans share their thoughts, discussing the ongoing debate between Saturn and PlayStation, the challenges of porting complex arcade games, and general feelings about game graphics and system capabilities. It's clear readers are passionate about the state of gaming and the Saturn's position in the market.
The page also announces contest results.
The 12th Illustration Hall of Fame lists winners and shows some of their art, referencing games like Friends and Dragon Force. Additionally, the results for the 15th cover prediction contest are revealed, confirming Burning Rangers was the correct guess and listing the winners. Finally, the Memory Preservation Committee section focuses on frustrating issues with save data and backup RAM cartridges, with fans discussing lost saves for titles like Soul Hackers and Panzer Dragoon Saga, lamenting the high cost of memory solutions. A brief section outlines rules for submitting fan content to the magazine. This page dives into game rankings based on actual sales data and reader feedback. The Sega Saturn sales charts show Winter Heat topping the list one week, followed by SD Gundam G Century S the next. Games like Panzer Dragoon Saga and Resident Evil continue to perform well, showing their enduring popularity on the platform. Moving over to the PlayStation rankings, the feature highlights the massive sales success on that platform and points out the rapid ascent of Resident Evil 2 up the popularity charts, alongside other strong titles like Sakura Wars 2 and Darkstalkers 3. Perhaps most interesting for Saturn fans is the most anticipated ports ranking, which lists the games readers desperately hope will come to the Saturn. Highly desired titles include Tales of Destiny, To Heart, and Final Fantasy Version 2. Notably, Square's Xenogears enters the list at number 10, reflecting intense fan demand. A passionate message titled Shouting directly appeals to developers like Square and Capcom, urging them to bring popular games like Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes, and Xenogears to the Saturn, even mentioning the need for the 4 MB RAM cartridge to make these ports possible. It's a clear expression of the Saturn community's hopes for big-name titles. This page presents the latest game rankings based on reader feedback and sales data. The main focus is on Sentimental Graffiti, which remarkably holds the #1 spot despite receiving a mix of both positive and negative reviews from players. The ranking table shows the top 11 games, including Sentimental Graffiti at the top, followed by titles like Machi, The Kindaichi Case Files, and Farland Saga. Scores are broken down across various categories like graphics, scenario, and overall enjoyment, reflecting reader sentiment. The bulk of the page is dedicated to reader impressions of Sentimental Graffiti. Reviews touch on its ambitious scale, with 12 different heroines across Japan, the quality of the character designs and graphics, and the depth of the simulation elements like managing schedules, travel, and phone calls. Some reviewers praised the emotional impact and realistic feel, while others found parts repetitive, the story inconsistent, or the interface cumbersome. The mixed reception is a recurring theme, highlighting the game's divisive nature despite its popularity. Finally, there's a short comment from the developer, acknowledging the game's release, and perhaps hinting at future content or reception. Overall, the page gives a detailed look at how a major new dating sim title was received by the Saturn fanbase. This page displays game rankings from second place downwards, showcasing reader feedback and developer insights. Taking the second spot is Machi, praised for its innovative sound novel mechanics, realistic depiction of the city, and the challenging zapping system, where perspectives shift between different characters. Readers found the story engaging despite its complexity, and the developers expressed satisfaction with its reception. hinting at future possibilities. Ranked third is the Kindaichi Case Files, lauded for its compelling mystery narrative and realistic atmosphere, a successful adaptation of the popular manga series. Following at fourth is Farland Saga, a simulation RPG that appealed to readers with its gameplay and voice acting. Further down, Soul Crisis at fifth receives mixed to negative feedback, with readers finding it overly difficult and unbalanced, though the developer hopes some enjoy the challenge. The dating sim Hukago Rine Club at sixth garners varied opinions, some enjoying it despite its simplicity, while others found the graphics and content lacking compared to the PC original, which was improved for the Saturn release. At seventh, Jungle Park Saturn Island was noted for enjoyable minigames, but criticized for its lack of overall content and direction. The rankings also include a section with general comments, possibly for another game not explicitly listed, discussing its complex system involving multiple protagonists. This page continues the game ranking feature from the previous page, highlighting reader feedback and developer responses. Coming in at 8th place is Sankyo Fever Jisoo Simulation Volume 2, a pachinko simulation. Readers found it useful for studying pachinko mechanics, though some felt it lacked content. At 9th place is Wizardry Nemesis. Reviewers noted a shift from previous Wizardry titles, with a focus on puzzling and atmosphere, though some found the hints lacking. Developers mention it's a new challenge for the team. Taking the 10th spot is Jang Rhythm. Despite simple controls, the gameplay was described as repetitive, and the story mode timing off, though some enjoyed the competitive aspect. The developer expresses appreciation for the feedback and suggests exploring different ways to play. Ranked 11th is the Star Bowling Volume 2. Feedback was mixed, with some enjoying the sound but criticizing the unnatural pin reactions and simple graphics compared to the previous volume. The developer acknowledges the feedback and aims to improve future titles. The page also includes a call for reader game reviews for future issues. The main feature is a strategy guide for Burning Rangers. Described as the story of a futuristic special rescue team, the article covers basic knowledge, techniques, and strategies for the first 2 missions. It highlights the challenging missions set in a zero-gravity space colony, detailing the dangers and environments players will face. The guide promises essential tips to navigate these perilous situations. Screenshots showcase the game's futuristic space environments and action sequences. This page delves into the core mechanics and strategies for Burning Rangers. It begins by emphasizing that navigating the game's diverse and often perilous disaster areas requires more than just basic movement. Players must fully understand the 3D environments to succeed. Key actions covered include various jumps, from simple leaps to double jumps and vernier movement, which allows for temporary hovering, essential for traversing complex spaces and evading attacks. The guide highlights the crucial role of crystals, which serve as the energy source. Players lose collected crystals when damaged, and these are needed to rescue survivors, and gain continues. Extinguishing fires with the fire extinguisher is also vital, as some fires only vanish this way, and doing so reveals crystals. The fire extinguisher can also be charged for a powerful shot effective against robots and bosses. The page introduces the Dangerous Area Gauge, a critical UIT element that visually represents the increasing threat level of the environment, urging players to act quickly and extinguish fires to keep it low and prevent explosions. It also stresses the importance of changing camera viewpoints to find hidden survivors and crystals within the multi-layered levels. Finally, the guide mentions the mail function, where rescued survivors send messages providing hints or unlocking bonus features. Screenshots throughout the page demonstrate these mechanics and environmental features. This page offers a detailed guide for navigating Mission 1 in Burning Rangers, serving as an introduction to the game's world. It stresses the importance of fully understanding the 3D environments, as hidden areas and survivors are crucial. The guide walks players through key points, starting with combat against work robots, using charged shots. Rescuing survivors is highlighted, noting they can be in unexpected locations, sometimes requiring players to deviate from standard instructions. Finding switches is essential to restore power and open blocked paths, often involving searching in dark areas or navigating hazardous environments with collapsing floors and exploding tanks. The page culminates with strategies for the boss battle against the giant enemy Anemeth. Its weak point is the core of the flower. Players should use charged shots and utilize jumps or vernier movement to dodge its fire attacks. This page jumps straight into a comprehensive walkthrough for Burning Rangers Mission 2, noting that the difficulty has significantly increased compared to Mission 1 due to more complex environments, numerous traps, and 15 survivors to find, often in tricky locations. The guide uses a detailed map flowchart with points A through P, illustrating the path and key objectives. Highlights include the introduction of underwater exploration at point A, requiring players to use the vernier thrusters since the fire shooter is unavailable underwater. Vent shafts at points B and K serve as crucial shortcuts and navigation aids. Rescuing survivors at points like D, H, and J is emphasized, sometimes requiring specific actions like activating switches, CHN, to progress or access new areas. Players are warned about environmental hazards, including unexpected fire traps, IN, and confronting multiple robots, EP. A key decision point at J involves choosing the correct path to rescue a survivor via a vent. The boss battle section at the bottom provides strategy for defeating the enormous aquatic creature. The crucial tip is to stay on the water's surface, as the fire shooter works there. Players should use charged shots while navigating the moving platforms, and target the boss's core when it stops moving to deal damage. This page dives deep into the latter half of the strategy guide for Chaos Seed, focusing on unlocking all the secrets and achieving 100% completion. It covers the final scenario branches and provides solutions for the challenging Nazokutsu, which are puzzle rooms, offering powerful rewards. The scenario section explains how the game's multiple endings converge in the final stages, detailing the specific choices required to reach each one. It briefly touches upon unique scenarios like the Mad Beast, which incorporates adventure game elements, and the Emperor of the Realm, noted as the quickest clear path, along with the final boss rush challenge. The bulk of the guide focuses on Nazokutsu 11 through 20. These are presented as intricate room building and management puzzles, each with a specific objective. The guide provides strategic layouts and key actions for clearing each one, from opening tunnels and navigating layouts efficiently, as shown in various room grid screenshots, to managing energy production, placing traps, and optimizing room synergy. The final Nazokutsu, while featuring numerous enemies, is surprisingly simple if you've leveled up your main character appropriately. Overall, this section offers crucial solutions for obtaining the best gear and completing the game's bonus challenges. The next page presents a vibrant comic guide to Chaos Seed, titled Love from the Immortal Cave, serving as the final installment specifically for beginners. This comic format makes learning the game's complex systems approachable. We see a student character being taught by a teacher figure, illustrating core gameplay mechanics. The lesson covers the basics of cultivating your immortal cave, emphasizing that you can get started quickly in just 30 minutes. It delves into essential elements, like placing rooms effectively using feng shui, and other underground resources. Key aspects like ignoring overly complex strategy guide details initially, and focusing on the fundamentals are highlighted. The teacher stresses that the foundation of room building relies on just 3 types: production, training, and summoning rooms. While auxiliary rooms offer convenience, relying too heavily on them can make your cave unwieldy. The comic underscores the importance of understanding basic room synergy and resource management. Combat basics are also touched upon, recommending the sword as a primary weapon for beginners. The overarching message is that mastering the core mechanics is key to success, encouraging beginners to aim for the strongest immortal cave by starting with these essential steps. The next page presents a detailed strategy guide for the adventure game Dukoku Soshite. It focuses on the story's branching points and how to navigate them. The main image features 2 female characters from the game in an anime style. The guide breaks down key decision points, explaining how player actions, such as interacting with items or choosing dialogue options, affect the narrative and lead to different outcomes or scenes. 2 specific scenarios are highlighted, dealing with a boiler trap and finding a pink paper bag, illustrating how simple actions can branch the story. There's also a section analyzing the game's system, explaining how endings are determined not just by major choices, but also by various factors like triggering traps, visiting specific locations, and experiencing particular events throughout the game. This suggests a complex system where seemingly minor actions can influence the final outcome. The page includes several screenshots showing different character reactions and event scenes, visually demonstrating the consequences of choices. A small note at the bottom mentions the game's release date, and that it's the first in its series to be full color and include all items in the strategy guide. This page continues the in-depth strategy guide for the adventure game Dukoku Soshite. It breaks down further scenario branching points, explaining how your choices impact the story. The guide details critical decisions, such as who to team up with, whether to act with Kandegawa, Norma, or go solo, and how these paths diverge into different events and character interactions. It covers specific events, like encountering puzzles, such as deciphering Norma's code, and navigating dangerous situations. Key moments highlighted include rescuing Chizuru from a perilous trap, and exploring the second floor via the elevator to find necessary items. The guide also covers the dramatic discovery of Yashiro in a collapsed state due to drugs, emphasizing the game's darker themes and how this event triggers another significant story branch. The accompanying screenshots showcase these various scenarios, character reactions, and crucial moments, providing visual context for the strategic advice. The guide promises a complete walkthrough to achieve a happy ending and discover hidden characters, suggesting the complexity of the game's branching narrative system. The next page continues the comprehensive guide for Dukoku Soshite, delving deeper into the game's branching scenarios. It outlines how descending from the upper floor, either by stairs or elevator, leads to different encounters and critical events. Depending on your choice, you might meet characters like Tabuchi or Masami and face challenges such as a chemistry problem or uncovering the truth behind Chizuru's mysterious actions. A pivotal event covered is the life-or-death situation involving Norma, detailing the urgent steps needed to save her. The page also introduces bonus mini-drama CRUDs that extend the narrative, featuring titles like First Love and On a Winter Night at the Inn, along with insights from the voice cast. The guide promises visual assistance for collecting items, ensuring players can navigate the game effectively. This page features an in-depth look at the visual and developmental aspects of the game Dukoku Soshite. It includes a special interview with Mamoru Yokota, the original artist and character designer, who discusses his approach to bringing the characters to life and the challenges involved, touching upon specific design choices like Norma's hairstyle. Following this, there's an interview with the development staff, including the director, graphic chief, scenario writer, and CG artists, providing insights into the game's production, story development, and favorite characters. The page also showcases beautiful artwork from Mamoru Yokota and hints at the possibility of a sequel, Dukoku 2. It concludes with a promotion offering a special mini-drama CAD as a release commemoration gift for fans. Various perspectives highlight the care and effort that went into creating the game's world and characters. This page dives deep into the competitive world of Winter Heat, showcasing a parade of ultex or special techniques across various events. The guide details helpful moves like speed boosts and special jumps for sports such as speed ski, downhill, short track skate, speed skate, slalom, bobsleigh, snowboard, and cross-country. It also covers some fun or unusual techniques outside of the main competition, such as cosmetic changes or special character actions. A notable point is the section explaining how to unlock the hidden character, Jeff Jansen's. The page concludes by listing the seemingly impossible records set by the game's developers, daring players to challenge them. This comprehensive guide serves as an invaluable resource for players looking to uncover secrets and master the slopes and ice of Winter Heat. This page serves as an essential guide for mastering the baseball management simulation game, Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team. It starts by walking beginners through vital preparations before the pennant season kicks off, recommending specific home stadium locations like Chiba and Kitakyushu based on factors like population and rainfall, and highlighting the importance of investing in key facilities early, such as training equipment and massage rooms, despite their high cost. A major highlight is the extensive reveal of complete player data for the Central League teams. While the detailed table is extensive, it provides crucial stats on pitching and batting abilities, defense, and condition, serving as an invaluable resource for evaluating and managing players throughout the season. The guide continues with strategic advice for the pennant race itself, focusing on player management by paying close attention to condition and stamina, optimizing the batting lineup for maximum effectiveness, and making smart trades to acquire talent. The page concludes by inviting players to submit gameplay questions and participate in password-based matchups, encouraging community engagement. This page offers early game strategy and full Central League player data for Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, aiding beginners and experienced managers alike. This page continues the in-depth guide for the baseball management simulation, Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, this time presenting the complete active player data for the Pacific League teams. While the extensive table details abilities and stats, just like the Central League data on the previous page, the accompanying strategy tips offer further advice for the pennant race, emphasizing developing player strengths, improving defensive capabilities, and managing player satisfaction during contract renewals to avoid costly departures. The page also features a lively "Hello from the Postcard Survey" section, sharing direct feedback from readers. This includes various comments on games they've recently played or experienced, mentioning titles like Thunder Force V, a SEGA Panzer Dragoon RPG, Real Sound, and Sentimental Graffiti. Readers share personal anecdotes and opinions on these games and the magazine's content. Rounding out the page are reader-voted rankings of the magazine's articles. The most interesting articles highlight popular titles like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, Even the Lost One, and Mobile Suit Gundam themes. The least interesting section includes articles on Town and even the baseball game guide itself, showing diverse reader preferences. This page presents a reader survey and prize giveaway opportunity. Readers are encouraged to fill out an extensive questionnaire covering topics like their school or profession, age, gender, magazine reading habits, and opinions on the current issue's articles and features. They are also asked about games they have played and games they are looking forward to on the Sega Saturn and other platforms. The incentive for completing the survey is a chance to win one of 10 featured Sega Saturn games, with 5 copies of each game being given away. The prize list includes highly sought-after titles like Sakura Wars 2, Dragon Force 2, the arcade horror port The House of the Dead, Super Robot Wars 5 Complete Box, the popular fighter The King of Fighters 97, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, strategy title Mobile Suit Gundam Giran's Ambition, action-adventure Princess Quest, dungeon crawler Dungeon Master Nexus, and the simulation game Roommate 3. Detailed instructions are provided on how to apply by postcard, emphasizing specific formatting requirements for filling in the survey answers, using numbers, and filling in boxes correctly for computer processing. The deadline for entry is also noted. Several large tables are present listing this issue's articles, magazine names, hardware names, games readers have played, and a massive list of upcoming Sega Saturn titles. These tables serve as references for answering the survey questions about content and games. This page presents a comprehensive list of Sega Saturn software titles released up to February 19, 1998. Organized by genre, this extensive table serves as a helpful reference, likely intended for readers to consult when answering survey questions about games they have already played. The list covers a wide variety of categories, including action, simulation, adventure, 2D and 3D shooting, sports, puzzle, mahjong, racing, and table games, showcasing the diverse library available on the system at the time. It's a valuable snapshot of the Saturn's released catalog just over a month into 1998. This page delves into the latest reader rankings, providing a real-time ranking based on votes collected up to January 22nd. As an expert, it's fascinating to see how the player base is reacting to the recent releases. The main table highlights the top performers, with giants like Sakura Wars and Grandia continuing to dominate the charts, reflecting their immense popularity and quality. A notable section is dedicated to the reception of Sentimental Graffiti, analyzing reader feedback. While it seems to have garnered significant positive votes, the magazine notes some reservations among players, indicating a mixed but generally favorable reception according to the poll data. There's even a separate ranking table specifically focused on this game, showing its performance based on different metrics within the survey. Further down, the page presents a cumulative ranking of the top 20 games over the past 6 months. This offers a broader view of the console's enduring hits, with top titles maintaining their strong positions, reinforcing their status as must-play games for any Saturn owner. It's clear from these rankings that the Saturn library continues to excite players with both recent hits and established classics. This page dives into the community aspect of Sega Saturn gaming, specifically focusing on a reader tournament centered around Let's Make a Soccer Team. 2. The magazine hosted the Saturn Fan Cup, a massive competition involving hundreds of reader-created clubs. This section details the second half of the tournament, showcasing the initial rounds of the 222 participating clubs. You can see the bracket diagrams, laying out the results of the first preliminary round matches, complete with scores and advancing teams. It's a great look at the competitive scene and how players' managerial skills in the game are put to the test. The page also lists all the clubs involved in this stage of the event, highlighting the sheer scale of reader engagement with this popular simulation title. There's a small info box detailing basic release information for Let's Make a Soccer Team. 2. This page continues the thrilling reader tournament for Let's Make a Soccer Team. 2. Moving past the initial stages covered previously. Here, you see the results of the final preliminary league phase, where the 28 clubs that advanced battled it out in groups. The tables show the standings, points, and goal differences, highlighting which teams proved their managerial prowess to qualify for the knockout rounds. Following the league results, the page presents the main tournament bracket. This is where things get serious, detailing the knockout matches from the first round all the way to the final. You can track the progression of the top clubs as they faced off head-to-head. The intensity builds through the quarterfinals and semifinals, culminating in the final match where the champion of this half of the tournament was decided. The results are clearly displayed, showing the ultimate winner from this section of the bracket. The page teases the ultimate showdown, stating that the grand champion deciding match will be covered on the next page, pitting this winner against the champion from the other half of the tournament. It's a fantastic look at the competitive depth the readers found in this simulation title. This page wraps up the exciting reader tournament for Tsukuru J. League Soccer Team 2, revealing the grand champion. The intense final match between Unicorn Gunzan and Nara Mistral is detailed, showcasing the culmination of the reader competition. Unicorn Gunzan ultimately claimed victory, securing their spot as the champion, with Nara Mistral as the runner-up. The page also lists the teams finishing third and fourth, celebrating the top performers in this deep soccer simulation. Featured prominently on the right is the upcoming simulation RPG, Black/Matrix. The striking artwork introduces 5 potential female protagonists, described as masters, among the black-winged people who entrust their hearts to those with white wings. Each character, named Praha, Domina, Purica, Kruj, and Machette, is presented with a brief personality note, offering players a diverse choice for their journey in this dark fantasy world. The game is confirmed as a simulation RPG set to be released this year. This page is a response postcard bound into the magazine, designed for readers to submit their feedback and participate in contests. On the left side, there are fields for the reader to write their own postal information, likely for identification or record-keeping purposes within the magazine's system. The right side functions as a pre-addressed postcard, already stamped for 50 yen, directing mail to the magazine's special applications section for the number 5 issue's reader presence. Readers are prompted to fill in their address, name, and phone number. A key section is dedicated to game evaluations, instructing readers to select games they have actually played from Table 4 on page 111, and provide feedback using a grid format that includes numerical identifiers and symbolic ratings. Finally, there's a space for readers to indicate which prize number they wish to receive from the selection offered in this issue. This form serves as a direct line for reader engagement, allowing the magazine to collect data on game preferences and run prize giveaways. This page delves into the world of the tactical RPG Black Matrix. The feature opens with a synopsis of the game's story, introducing a young protagonist who awakens with amnesia and embarks on a journey to save a beautiful girl, his presumed master. The narrative progresses through chapters, detailing events like imprisonment, escape with allies, and the protagonist's sacrifice of his wings to gain the power needed to confront powerful enemies. Visually, the page showcases character art of the winged hero and screenshots depicting various scenes. These include interior environments like a bedroom and a prison, as well as tactical battle maps featuring characters moving on a hex grid from an isometric perspective. Event scene screenshots highlight character portraits interacting. The gameplay is described as a simulation battle system with turn-based combat on these maps. A unique mechanic called Bloody Point is explained as a crucial resource gained from defeating enemies, which is used to activate powerful magic and unlock character potential, significantly influencing the flow of battle. The character growth system is highlighted for its flexibility, allowing players to allocate experience points freely to level up characters according to their strategy, whether balancing the party or specializing individuals. Overall, the page presents Black Matrix as a story-driven tactical RPG with a distinct combat system and player-controlled progression. This page introduces the King of Fighters 97, focusing on helping newcomers understand the game's fundamentals. It highlights the signature 3-on-3 team battle format, where players choose 3 characters to form a team and fight through opponents in a winner-stays-on format until one team is eliminated. The page features character art of prominent fighters like Iori Yagami, Leona Hydern, and Chizuru Kagura, alongside screenshots showcasing the team select screen and in-game battles. A brief overview of the opening story is provided, linking it to the aftermath of the previous tournament and setting the stage for the new conflict. A significant gameplay system discussed is the support attack mechanic, where a teammate can assist the active character during battle adding a strategic layer to the team combat. This system is illustrated with a screenshot showing characters like Yuri Sakazaki and Robert Garcia in action. The overall tone suggests the article aims to make the game accessible while highlighting its core mechanics and exciting new features. This page dives into the distinct gameplay modes available in the King of Fighters 97, giving players the freedom to choose their preferred style. It highlights two main modes: Advanced and Extra. The Advanced mode is built upon the foundation of the King of Fighters 96 system, with additions from 97. This mode emphasizes player freedom with features like emergency evade, throw escape, and different jump types, including a large jump, mid-jump, and small jump. The power gauge fills as you attack and take damage, allowing for a power max state or super special moves. In contrast, the Extra mode is based on the King of Fighters 94 system, incorporating 97 elements. This mode features mechanics such as attack evasion and a standard fixed jump. Its power gauge system is different, allowing players to charge it manually, and enables repeated use of super special moves when health is low. The page features dynamic character art of Kyo Kusanagi and Iori Yagami, along with screenshots showcasing the character selection screen and various in-game actions specific to each mode, such as evading attacks and using special jumps, clearly illustrating the differences between the two systems. It's clear the game offers diverse ways to play, catering to different player preferences. This page focuses on the core gameplay mechanics and the signature moves found in the King of Fighters 97. The left side details systems common to all characters, regardless of whether you choose Advanced or Extra mode. These include essential techniques like recovery after being knocked down, performing a guard crush by repeatedly attacking a blocking opponent, executing a powerful blowaway attack that sends the enemy flying, using the backstep for quick evasion, and even performing a taunt to drain the opponent's power gauge. Screenshots illustrate these actions in action. The right side highlights some of the unique special and super special moves available to individual fighters, urging players to master them. Featured moves include Yamazaki's Drill and Rapid Descent Bomb Punch, Mai Shiranui's Fiery Phoenix Dance, Billy Kane's Great Whirlwind, and Ryo Sakazaki's Heaven and Earth Sovereign Fist. The page proudly showcases Kyo Kusanagi's devastating new super special move, the Final Showdown Secret Technique, Mushiki. Character art features Kyo Kusanagi and Geese Howard, with Geese delivering his classic line, "You're 100 years too early." The page emphasizes that each character has distinct techniques, adding depth and variety to the combat. This page dives into Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, Irodori no Love Song, the second entry in Konami's adventure game spin-off series. Following the previous volume, this game puts you in the shoes of a high school guitarist aiming for victory in a band contest. It features a command-based system to navigate the protagonist's busy daily life, filled with school, band practice, songwriting, and of course, pursuing romance, primarily focusing on the artistic heroine, Irodori Katagiri. The page highlights key aspects of the gameplay, showing the daily routine of a student musician, from writing songs on the school rooftop to practicing with his band, Irodori. It also illustrates the classic conversation system, with potential good or bad outcomes depending on your choices, a staple of the series. We see glimpses of evening activities like calling girls and walking home together after school, adding to the life simulation feel. Beyond the main heroine and the protagonist's bandmates, the page introduces a colorful cast of supporting characters, including familiar faces from the original Tokimeki Memorial and some new additions. It briefly touches on plot points like a rivalry with another character, Minori Akiho, adding conflict to the band's journey towards the contest. This volume promises a deep dive into the protagonist's life and relationships within the beloved Tokimeki Memorial universe. This page delves further into Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, Irodori no Love Song, tracking the protagonist's progress towards the cultural festival band contest. It covers key story beats, including the initial meeting with the artistic heroine, Irodori Katagiri, and the lead-up to the contest. The game features interactive story segments depicted through character dialogues and scenes, showing band practice and daily school life. A notable encounter involves the protagonist presenting his song to Irodori, only to receive a surprisingly critical response that shakes his confidence. Supportive characters, particularly Suzune Himekawa, are shown offering encouragement. The page also reveals core gameplay mechanics beyond conversation choices,
detailing a guitar practice minigame that emphasizes rhythm and timing, and an intriguing songwriting system where players combine different musical and lyrical phrases to compose original tracks. This blends the visual novel elements with unique interactive creative processes.
This page presents a detailed report on the 6th installment of the popular Jake Hunter detective story series, titled The End of Dreams. The article highlights the game's theme, a complex labyrinth called the past, intricately woven through a series of disappearances. A key feature is the innovative zapping system, allowing players to switch perspectives between three main characters, Jake Hunter, Yoko Mifune, his assistant, and Detective Kumano, to experience the story from multiple angles simultaneously. The plot kicks off with Jake being hired by Yoshika Akita, a friend of Yoko's, who subsequently goes missing, triggering a wider investigation into serial disappearances. The report details how each character approaches the central mystery. Jake begins after Yoshika hires him. Yoko plays a crucial support role from the agency, and Detective Kumano tackles the case from a different angle, partnering with a new investigator named Noda and gathering information in Shibuya. Beyond the core detective work, the game features an upgraded version of the mystery case file short stories, now including minigames like tests and puzzles. The familiar bar Kasumi returns, offering new minigames like blackjack, slots, and Joker's Wild. Winning these minigames can lead to drinking contests with the bar's owners, which in turn can advance the story. The report suggests that these elements add depth and variety to the gameplay. The article concludes by emphasizing the central mystery of Yoshika's disappearance and its connection to the ongoing serial cases.
This page reports on Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, highlighting its all-new, original animated movie sequences depicting key moments and characters from the one-year war integrated into the game.
This page reports on the fantasy RPG Princess Quest, detailing its core gameplay systems. The game combines exploration of 2D town maps and 3D dungeons, as players work to solve a mystery and recover a stolen treasure with the help of 5 princesses. A key mechanic is the ability to switch between the protagonists, Willow and Will. This character change significantly impacts gameplay, affecting accessibility to locations, influencing story events, and altering combat capabilities, as Willow focuses on physical attacks while Will excels in magic. The page showcases character artwork, screenshots of map exploration, dungeon crawling, and battle scenes, highlighting how the character change affects the game. It also mentions a limited edition version that includes collectible trading cards of the princesses. This page details the Princess Quest RPG's systems, highlighting character switching, Willow, Will, affecting exploration, events, and combat in 2D maps and 3D dungeons. This page is dedicated to the highly anticipated return of a classic real-time 3D RPG, Dungeon Master, reborn as Dungeon Master Nexus with fully polygonal graphics. The article emphasizes the series' core real-time gameplay set across 15 floors of dark, trap-filled dungeons. Screenshots showcase the detailed 3D environments, the character status interface displaying party members like Soja, Sirius, Mogan, and Zodar, and intense real-time combat against various monsters, including iconic series creatures. The game promises intricate traps, requiring item collection and puzzle solving, and dynamic battles where players must strategically use weapons, magic, and even environmental elements. An interesting highlight is the announcement of results from a game idea contest, revealing that several player-submitted concepts were adopted and implemented into the game's design, adding unique traps and challenges such as falling iron balls and closing walls. The game is presented as a single-player role-playing experience on Crodrom, continuing the legacy of the original real-time RPG pioneer. The shift to full polygons suggests a significant visual and gameplay evolution for the series. This page delves into Roommate 3, a simulation/adventure game focusing on living with the character Ryoko. The article highlights the free events that occur within the house, showcasing specific scenarios that deepen the relationship with Ryoko over the 1-month cohabitation period. 4 particular events are featured: Ryoko discussing Shakespeare and the harp, her preference for incense, a moment where she gets upset, her aversion to wind, perhaps drafts or something similar, and a seemingly romantic interaction in the study. These events appear to be triggered by conditions like location, time, and the player's relationship with Ryoko. The page also teases Ryoko's empty 4 months, covering the period from her return from America in October until the game's start, suggesting players will learn more about her during this time.
A floor plan of the house demonstrates the moving system, allowing players to navigate and interact within the environment. The screenshots accompanying the event descriptions show dialogue boxes and character portraits, typical of the game's presentation. Roommate 3 promises a rich set of character interactions and events designed to build intimacy with Ryoko.
This page features an exciting look at Wipeout XL, known as Wipeout 2097 in some regions, an anti-gravity racing game set in the near future. The game is part of the 5000 Anti-Gravity Racing League, challenging players to race for the top spot, using techniques and weapons to survive. A key change from its predecessor is the introduction of shield energy, which depletes upon collision, leading to elimination if it hits zero. The page highlights 3 game modes: Arcade, Time Trial, and Arcade Challenge. Players will navigate 6 distinct courses across 3 difficulty levels, utilizing speed grids and weapon/item pickups found on the track. There are 4 teams to choose from: Fisar, Ag Systems, Oricom, and Kyrex, each possessing different stats. Players can collect 7 types of weapons and 4 types of items, randomly, during races to aid them. The left side of the page presents a special feature titled Ryoko's The Winter's Tale,
detailing the school life of the character Ryoko after her return to Japan.
This piece connects directly to the game Roommate 3, showing key events from October to February 13th, when Roommate 3 begins. Illustrated segments depict Ryoko's return in October, a Christmas party in December, and a New Year's shrine visit in January. The feature also mentions a drama CD related to the character. This serves as an interesting look into Ryoko's background leading up to the events of Roommate 3. This page features The Legend of Heroes, a tier of Vermilion, known as Legend of Heroes 2i, making its first appearance on home consoles on the Sega Saturn. Originally a popular PC series title, this version receives a major overhaul in both visuals and gameplay systems. The graphical improvements include more detailed character sprites and a quarter-view perspective for exploring the world. The battle system has been refined into a command selection style. The story centers on the young protagonists, Julio and Chris, as they set out on what begins as a simple pilgrimage, but quickly transforms into a quest to discover the truth behind the legendary White Witch. The narrative deliberately keeps her true nature ambiguous, leaving players to ponder whether she is a force for good or evil. The page introduces Julio as earnest and Chris as reliable, highlighting their journey together. A significant addition to the Saturn port is the inclusion of over 20 minutes of animated cutscenes, bringing key story moments to life. Screenshots display the game's updated look, including town exploration, battles, and scenes from the anime sequences. The next page showcases 2 distinct simulation titles. First up is Gensu Kyusukyoku's second album, the follow-up to the title featured on the previous page, continuing its run on the Saturn. This game places you in charge of a struggling self-defense force, tasking you with managing a weekly schedule that includes training, events to deepen bonds with companions,
and keeping the unit afloat for a year.
The page highlights interaction with a vibrant cast of anime-style characters, with friendship playing a key role. Below this is Dawn of the Nile, a city-building and conquest simulation set in ancient Egypt. Here, you play as the pharaoh, aiming to unify Egypt by developing cities, recruiting troops, and invading neighboring territories. The game features a unique mechanic, where the pharaoh's life is finite, with the throne passing to a successor upon death, creating a long-term dynasty management element. Screenshots display the city view, army management, and combat. Both games introduce the key characters and gameplay loops. This page presents a look at 2 upcoming titles. First is the Convenience Store 2, the follow-up to the simulation game focused on managing a convenience store chain. The goal is to expand nationwide, handling everything from store layout and sales promotions to staff hiring and financial management across multiple areas, including Hokkaido, Shikoku, Seto Inland Sea, and Kitakyushu, with Tokyo as a bonus area after clearing the initial regions. Gameplay involves meeting conditions for expansion and dealing with various random events that can affect the business. Below it is Time Commando, an action-packed time-slip adventure. You battle computer viruses across 8 distinct historical periods, generated within a supercomputer's virtual space. Combat is based on punches and kicks, but you'll find various weapons specific to each era. To survive and progress, you need to collect blue memory chips scattered throughout the stages, which extend your remaining time. The game features diverse environments spanning from the primitive era to the Japanese Sengoku period and modern warfare. This page dives into the features of Sega Worldwide Soccer 98, highlighting its impressive content and gameplay improvements. The game boasts support for online play via X-Band and features a massive roster of 108 club teams, the largest in the series at the time. It details various game modes, including the Worldwide Cup where you compete against international teams, a penalty shootout mode for quick competitive fun, and the Club League and Exhibition modes for domestic club action. Player customization is also highlighted with a player edit feature. The page breaks down the sophisticated control system, explaining techniques like shooting, passing, defensive maneuvers such as sliding tackles and shoulder charges, and even quick coaching options to adjust team strategy on the fly during a match. Screenshots throughout the page showcase the graphical presentation, different modes, and tactical depth of the game. This page showcases two very different simulation games, a pachinko parlor management simulator and a virtual polygon stripping mahjong game featuring 3 female opponents. This page presents a collection of reviews and previews for Sega Saturn games, highlighting titles available now and coming soon in early March 1998. The featured section focuses on games intended to help buyers make informed decisions, with insights from various reviewers. We see impressions for Welcome to Pia Carrot, Who, a dating simulation praised for its detailed scenarios and charming characters, receiving solid scores around 7.3 on average. There's also a review for Sega Worldwide Soccer 98, a sports title where reviewers discuss its gameplay and X-Band compatibility, resulting in an average score of 6.3. A management simulation, The Convenience Store 2, is also reviewed, noted for its strategic depth in-store operation, averaging scores around 6.7. Though some found it slow-paced. A significant preview section is dedicated to Even the Lost One, presented as the highly anticipated successor to the popular adventure game Even Burst Error. The preview hints at a compelling story with multiple perspectives, building on the strengths of its predecessor. The reviewers introduce themselves briefly, giving readers context for their perspectives on different game genres. The next page continues with Sega Saturn game impressions, kicking off with a city simulation called Nail Gal no Yake, where reviewers note frustratingly long waiting times and a lack of engaging elements, giving it middling scores around 5.0. Next up is Virtual Mahjong. While generally considered well-made, reviewers point out the annoyance of strict time limits during gameplay, leading to a score of around 6.0. For racing fans, Wipeout XL, known as Wipeout 2097 internationally, is featured, praised for its sense of speed and tension on tight courses, though reviewers found the track design a bit challenging, resulting in scores averaging 6.3. The page also covers Denpa Shonen Game, a party game based on a Japanese TV show. Reviewers discuss its lighthearted mood and suitability for playing with large groups, highlighting the variety of minigames. A detailed impression section delves deeper, with multiple reviewers sharing their thoughts on the game's presentation and overall feel, even referencing other titles like Even in a broader discussion about impressions. The focus here is on fun and accessibility for many players. The next page features an advertisement on the left for Virtual Mahjong, showcasing 3 rendered female characters, Miho, Nana, and Mari, highlighting service visuals, viewpoint switching, and authentic 4-player gameplay with specific rule options. The main content on the right is an in-depth interview titled, Listen to the Creator's Commitment, focusing on the sound novel game Mashi, also known as The City. The scriptwriter, Hideyoshi Nagasaka, discusses the game's ambitious design featuring the intertwining stories of 100 simultaneous protagonists and over 3,000 possible narratives. He describes Machi as a new culture, blending high drama with interactive gameness, emphasizing the challenge and rewarding nature of creating such a massive, interconnected narrative experience that aims to evoke strong emotion in the player. This page marks the final installment of the Elf fan feature and its Yuno character file, this time focusing on the character Amanda and discussing the voice actors for the Elf version of the game. There's a brief update on the Saturn version of Yuneno, mentioning bonus content like the soundtrack and illustration book collection. The main section, Prize Explorer, showcases upcoming arcade prizes available in March from Banpresto and Sega. Featured items include super robot figures from Toei animation titles like Getter Robo and Mazinger Z, figures from popular games like Sentimental Graffiti and Atelier Marie, and merchandise for Sega titles such as Virtual on keychains and Sakura Wars mobile straps. There's also a fluffy incense set. The page concludes with an announcement detailing how readers can win some of these prizes and a list of winners from previous contests. This page dives into the latest arcade hits, with the Arcade Hits Now feature. First up is Battle Tryst, a new 3D fighting game from Konami, first unveiled at the AOU show. The article highlights its simple control system, making it accessible even for beginners. A key focus is the game's unique blend of anime-style character artwork and 3D polygon models, described as an experimental fusion. The characters feature distinct anime designs and individual winning poses and techniques. Next, we look at Armed Police Batrider, a vertical scrolling shooter from Rising that is currently operating in arcades.
This game puts a strong emphasis on score attack.
Notable features discussed include adjusting your ship's shot speed, the ability to select guest characters, including those from other Rising titles like Magical Chase and Garega, and various power-up systems. There's also a unique stage edit option and details on the bosses. The page also mentions a poster giveaway contest for the game.
This page kicks off with a look at Uopoko, a charming new puzzle game from Cave, known for their shooters. It features simple one-lever controls to drop fish, matching 3 of the same color to clear them, and includes helpful items and support for 2 players. Next, we get a report from Sparkling the AM number 3, covering the recent AOU show, highlighting the immense excitement generated by Virtua. The report enthusiastically lists many of the game's diverse and popular mechs, including Temjin, Raiden, Feiyan, and APHARMD, among others. On the right, the PC version of Last Bronx is announced as launching soon. The article praises the high quality of its graphics and faithful recreation of the arcade game's atmosphere, noting the character motion and environment settings are well handled, and confirming the inclusion of a survival mode. Towards the bottom, a tips section reveals a new female angler character and a hidden technique in Sega bass fishing, Get Bass. There's also an announcement of winners for a Darkstalkers arcade board giveaway, and a separate contest for Marvel vs. Capcom posters. Finally, a small section touches on AM3's activities, mentioning Virtua and Gunblade NY. This page dives into Hyper Ultech, offering valuable tips and tricks for several Sega Saturn titles. First up, for Panzer Dragoon Saga you can find powerful hidden items like the Dragon Booster and Lock-On Pollen. Clearing the game also unlocks the fun box game minigame. Next, in SD Gundam G Century S, specific names can be entered to give your pilots unique stats and levels, plus there's a hidden map available after completing the game under certain conditions. For racing fans playing Sega Touring Car Championship, using a Sega Racing controller and a specific sequence at the car select screen reveals hidden cars like the Toyota Celica GT4 and initial courses not normally available. Wizards Harmony 2 features special events tied to specific dates and holidays that allow you to meet hidden characters like Mirror Knight and Dill Senpai. In Sendai Ikusei Daikaisen Chaos Seed, inputting a button combination on the menu screen grants access to a cool bonus art gallery showcasing game illustrations. There's also a quick tip for the shogi title, Authentic Shogi Guide, Wakamatsu Shogi School, showing you how to view the staff roll. Finally, in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, a simple trick on the character select screen lets you pick your fighter randomly for some unpredictable matches. The page concludes with a call for readers to submit their own unique game tips via mail or fax. This page features the cover girl, Ryo Sasamoto, prominently associated with the game Yami Soshite, which appears to be a featured title about a tragedy in an old mansion, listing some of the main characters. The page acts as an announcement for Nadeshiko Volume 3, highlighting various Sega Saturn games covered inside. You'll find a feature on Eve the Lost One, with a pinup and a guide, likely related to the Welcome to Pia Carrot series. Other titles mentioned include the RPG Black Matrix, Friends, Aoki Kagayaki, La Neige, Etude Prologue, and Himitsu Sentai Metamorph Versus. This page gives a preview of the visual novel, adventure, and RPG content found within the magazine issue. This page is an essential resource for serious gamers, showcasing a series of comprehensive strategy guides from Tokuma Intermedia MOOC under their How to Walk Through the Gamebooks line. Front and center are guides for 2 major Sega Saturn titles: the spooky adventure, Yami Soshite, featuring a full-color edition with character charts and item details perfect for navigating its eerie mansion setting, and the mech strategy epic Super Robot Wars F, offering over 244 pages packed with enemy data, map locations, and turn-by-turn breakdowns for achieving tactical mastery. Both are touted as bestsellers or highly praised releases,
promising players the depth they need to conquer these challenging games. Beyond the featured Saturn guides, the page also highlights a selection of other strategy books available for PlayStation titles. This includes guides for popular games like the RPG Breath of Fire 2i, the racing sim Gallop Racer 2, the sci-fi shooter RPG Crime Crackers 2, and the action RPG Blaze and Blade, among others. These guides cover a range of genres, ensuring players on PlayStation also have access to detailed walkthroughs and data to enhance their gaming experience. It's clear this series is dedicated to providing in-depth assistance for players looking to delve into the intricacies of their favorite titles. The Saturn Newswave features Sega's strong presence at the AOU show, highlighted by arcade games like Virtua Fighter Kids and Sega Rally Championship. Shinjuku Joyopolis's new Wild River attraction with comedy events, and a Mika and Miki's Sweets radio station cooking segment are also covered. A Graduation Series 10th anniversary concert is announced, along with Imagineer's new Derby Ball minigame device. The February Saturn Day event focused on Burning Rangers, with Sonic, Knights, and Tails topping a character popularity poll. A Don Macaw CD release at Namco Wonder Egg, and the opening of the Asovini digital character shop in Harajuku round out the news. This page previews upcoming releases related to games, including the Sentimental Graffiti soundtrack, Elf video series, and Darkstalkers 3 manual. A new dating simulation game, Everloo Special, is highlighted, featuring RPG and school simulation elements. It also boasts related media like a radio drama and crids. Finally, a giveaway corner offers prizes like Teleka cards and posters, encouraging participation via postcard. This page previews several upcoming games. First up are two simulation titles. Mujintu Monogatari R, a port from the popular PC series focusing on love and survival on a deserted island with various female characters, and another game titled Life and Death and Love Are the Keywords SLG, which also blends survival and dating elements featuring attractive female characters. Next we get a look at Denpa Shonen Teiki Game, a lively party game based on the famous TV show. It features various mini-games and incorporates the show's theme, including punishment games for those who come last, seen in the bright, cartoony screenshots. Finally, Elf wo Karu Monotachi 2 is featured, an adventure game based on Those Who Hunt Elves anime. It promises to cover the full anime story and includes details on the characters, voice actors, and scenes. A separate section ties into the survival theme, showing screenshots from a game on an unknown island, referencing the Mujintu Monogatari series, highlighting exploration and resource gathering. This page features a mix of game previews and an important interview. First, we look at Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, a dungeon RPG crossover featuring characters from the popular Puyo Puyo series. It blends traditional RPG elements with dungeon crawling, promising witty character interactions, and boss battles using familiar Puyo Puyo characters. The screenshots show classic Puyo Puyo art, alongside dungeon exploration and turn-based combat. A related section highlights various dungeon traps and boss encounters within the game, adding variety to the gameplay. Next is a significant interview with the new Sega president, Shoichiro Irimajiri. He discusses his vision for Sega moving forward, emphasizing a focus on creativity, synergy between arcade and console divisions, and staying connected with end users. He touches upon the evolving landscape of the game industry and Sega's strategy to adapt and thrive in the coming years, particularly regarding the Sega Saturn console. Finally, there's a preview of Kari Adotsei, a 4-player action game focused on knocking rivals off stages using obstacles and kicks in a physics-based environment. It looks like a chaotic party game with simple rules. A small section also briefly covers new game information, including a title based on Mizuki Shigeru's Yokai and Konami's release plans. This page features a comprehensive status report on highly anticipated upcoming games. Organized neatly, each entry provides details on the publisher, release information, genre, a screenshot or character image, a brief development update, and a percentage indicating its progress or anticipation level. The report covers a wide array of genres, including popular fighting games like The King of Fighters, 97, Vampire Savior, and Dungeons & Dragons Collection, noting that several support the 4 MB RAM cartridge for enhanced performance. There are numerous simulation RPGs and RPGs featured, such as Shining Force 2i Scenario 2, Dragon Force 2, the Lunar Series, Black/Matrix, Grandia, and Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter,
detailing their strategic elements or story progression. Adventure games like Sakura Wars 2, Revolutionary Girl Utena, and Cross Tante Monogatari also get updates, often highlighting voice acting or plot points. Other genres like simulation, Princess Maker, Graduation, Angelique Duet, Roommate 3, Dream Generation, Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition, Role-playing, Baroque, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, Action, Bomberman Wars, and unique titles like Himitsu Sentai Metamor Versus are also covered, giving a broad look at the console's diverse upcoming library. Many entries mention titles nearing completion, delays, or specific development milestones, keeping readers informed about the state of these exciting releases. This page presents the essential new production sale calendar for the Sega Saturn, giving players a clear overview of upcoming releases. It's meticulously organized by month and expected release status, starting from February and moving through March, April, May onwards, and even including titles with undecided dates or those slated for 1998. The calendar lists each game with its title, the developer or publisher, and the expected price. A handy guide explains that titles appearing in red are brand new entries to the calendar, while those in blue have undergone a title change since the previous listing. Looking through the months, you can see a diverse array of titles expected, from fighting games like Darkstalkers 3 and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, to RPGs such as Dragon Force 2 and Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 2, and popular adventure series like Sakura Wars 2 and Riven, the sequel to Myst. There are also highly anticipated action games like Burning Ranger and The House of the Dead, alongside simulations and unique Japanese titles. The calendar provides a vital snapshot for fans eager to see what's on the horizon for the Saturn, tracking everything from titles with firm release dates to those still in development. Sega Saturn Magazine features a cover promoting Steam Hearts, a shooting game by Digials. The spring 1998 release, highlighted by Akira Kamiya's character design and full voice acting, is presented with screenshots. The issue also previews Even the Lost One, Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, and Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter. A comprehensive Saturn Game Index lists various titles, including King of Fighters, 97, House of the Dead, and business-oriented games like Armed Police Batrider. Reader Inquiries, a game specification guide, staff/copyright information, and a call for fan art complete the issue. The next page features the Sega Saturn title Dungeon Master Nexus. It welcomes the reader to the labyrinth of nightmare and despair, with a striking image of a creepy, red-hooded character, likely the titular Dungeon Master or an antagonist. The classic Dungeon Master game is reborn as a complete 3D real-time RPG on the Sega Saturn, promising powerful polygon monsters, eerie dungeons, and intricate traps designed to provide a highly immersive experience. The page includes an image of the game's box art, showing the title and a mysterious egg-like object. The game is published by Victor Interactive Software and was scheduled for release on March 26 for 6,800 yen.